Hello, everyone, as you're getting in the chat room. I'm Brian. I will be the MC for today's webinar. Really excited to present this one in conjunction with Buncee. We'll be talking specifically about how to use Buncee and Capstone Connect, Capstone's newest platform, for some really amazing in-class and remote learning mashups. And Shannon Miller is here. So we are really excited to get to share this with you. We'll probably get started just a little bit after 4, not too much, like a minute or so to give time for people to join. But love to hear where y'all are joining us from today. And if you use Buncee currently, or Pebble Go, or Capstone Interactive eBooks. And I will be back with you here to give you about a 60-second warning, but looking forward to it. Well, hello, everybody. We are at 4 o'clock now. I'm going to give it just another minute or two, probably more like a minute, just to let more people get in. People are pouring in, so I want to make sure that everybody has a chance before we get going. Again, we are excited to be able to share with you about some of the amazing ways that you can connect these two really wonderful platforms for your K-5 students. And we'll be with you here in just literally a minute to get going. Well, hello once again, most of you. For anybody that's joined over the last few minutes, my name is Brian. I will be the MC for today's presentation and webinar. Like I mentioned, we are very excited to have you join us for this really cool opportunity in partnership with Buncee. Capstone is super excited to get to present about our newest platform, Capstone Connect, and how you can use Buncee and Capstone Connect together for some really amazing learning opportunities for your students. So want to introduce the crew to you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shannon McClintock Miller. I am the District Teacher, Librarian, and Innovation Director at Van Meter Community School, and I also serve as the Future Ready Librarian spokesperson. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Shannon M. Miller.
Hi, everyone. My name is Angie Kalthoff, and I'm the Product Manager for Curriculum and Instruction here at Capstone. And prior to this, I was a teacher in both an elementary setting and a university setting. And you can find me on Twitter at Mrs. Kalthoff.
And again, my name is Brian Schmidt. I am the Ed Tech Marketing Manager and have had the privilege to work with some of our amazing platforms at Capstone, from Pebble Go to Capstone Interactive eBooks, and now Capstone Connect. And you can reach out to all of us through at Capstone Pub, and definitely a great channel to reach us.
All right, hello. My name is Eda Gimenez. I'm with the Buncee team. Really excited to be here with everyone. So I have the opportunity here at Buncee to be able to work with educators just like Shannon, to be able to, create awesome ideas to make learning fun and engaging for our students. So I'm really excited for today's session.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Well, as some of you might know, who've been to a few of our webinars in the past, I always like to go through some of the details and the most popular questions. First of all, yes, please ask us anything. We want this to be really interactive and a good opportunity to dialogue with you as we're going through this presentation. So feel free in the Q&A area for specific questions, or right within the chat. We'll have multiple people that'll be able to answer throughout. Additionally, the webinar is being recorded, so don't worry about jotting down everything you see. We'll make sure we get this webinar recording out to you, as well as the presentation. And then the other thing that I've seen a lot of value in for a lot of attendees at other webinars we've done is just conversation during the webinar, but really beyond that, because there's a lot of amazing educators out there who do some incredible things with Capstone resources and definitely with Buncee. So feel free to at either of us, hashtag Capstone Connect, hashtag Buncee, with some of your ideas, or it's a great way just to search for inspiration as well beyond this. So a little roadmap of where we're going today. So we obviously went through introductions. I'll be taking you through a quick intro video into what is Capstone Connect, and then just summarizing some of the key points. And then we get into the meat of the presentation, where I think it's really gonna be beneficial. So we'll jump into 8 creative coding projects, and Shannon will walk you through all those, give you the foundation to show you how she's used it. And then in the second half, it's really going to be a how-to. So not only will you have these inspirational projects, but you'll see exactly how to do it using Capstone Connect and Buncee with Angie and Eda. And then at the end, we will definitely have time for dedicated questions. So feel free to send those in. And if we don't get through them in the chat, we'll get to them at the end. So we'll jump in right now and start off by watching a video of Capstone Connect. And actually, I need to make sure my audio is on. So 1 second. Apologize for that. I just always forget that Zoom does not default to have the audio on. Okay, here you go.
You're a teacher. You spend hours every week finding resources for your students. The right resources. You gather it, you send it, they click it, and get an error. Or have to create yet another login and password. They get frustrated. Their caregivers get frustrated. And you get frustrated. There is an easier way. Introducing Capstone Connect, your one-stop content hub, where you can quickly and easily search and share educationally appropriate, highly engaging Capstone content. Capstone Connect gives you instant access to Pebble Go, Pebble Go Next, Pebble Go Spanish, Pebble Go Read More, Capstone Interactive's collection of ebooks with read aloud audio, and hundreds of other digital learning resources designed for use by both teachers and students. With Capstone Connect, you have thousands of content pieces that are matched to state and national standards right at your fingertips. No matter what ed tech tool you're using, you can give your students direct access to Capstone Connect's content with just a few clicks. Here's how it works. Once you've signed into your Pebble Go account, simply click the Capstone drop-down menu and select Search. Here you can search by either state and national standards or by title and get instant results, which you can organize by type, and also preview each item to find the exact content you're looking for. Then just copy the link and directly add it to any EdTech platform to give your students one-click access. No new logins or passwords required. Connecting your students to great resources has never been easier. With Capstone Connect.
Okay, well, there is a high-level overview of what Capstone Connect is, but more importantly, the hope is to really identify how this can be useful for teachers dealing with in-class, remote learning, just some of the common challenges that educators face. So what Capstone Connect ultimately is it's a direct path to help educators discover and share standards aligned content for their K through 5 students. And what it includes is Pebble Go, which is our K through 3 research platform with thousands of nonfiction articles. Pebble Go Spanish, which takes all those articles and has them translated with all the same supports as the English version into Spanish. Pebble Go Read More, which is 2 ebooks connected directly to every article in Animals and Science within Pebble Go that kids can access right within the platform. And then also Pebble Go Next, which is our grades 3 through 5 research database. So it has the aged up content, but the same comfortable, familiar platform that kids are familiar with and love. But really all that nonfiction content is built in, and then thematic ebook bundles. So there are thousands of ebook bundles, fiction and nonfiction, that are included as part of that package. And then compilations of instructional materials. So these are really geared towards being lesson plans and activities for teachers to be able to, I hate to call it an easy button because there's no easy button for teachers, but at the same time, really make it a little easier for teachers to find content and be able to use the content for educational purposes. And then again, making sure all of it is all aligned and searchable to national standards. You also saw in the video too, there's an easier way to get to content, even than searching by standard. If you just know you want certain titles of content. So if you're looking for titles on bears, or if you're looking for a title on volcanoes, all of that can be searched to find the content and then shared with students with that one easy click. So again, here's just another little summary of what's all included in the Capstone Connect package and what that looks like. Again, really pointing to how easy it is for educators to find the content and get it to their kids. And Angie's actually going to show you how to do that when it gets to her. But now I'm going to hand it off to Shannon, who will show you some of the ways she's used Capstone Connect and Buncee together to make some really wonderful coding related projects.
All righty, so I'm gonna grab the screen here. I love that new video. It's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna go over to mine. Get on the right one. Okay, well, I am super excited to share 8 creative coding projects using Buncee and Capstone Connect. And as we get ready for Hour of Code and just coding throughout the year, I think that bringing these 2 together is the perfect fit. And so I'm really excited, not only as we think about the things that we're going to share today, but even thinking about how we're going to share it with our teachers and our students and our families as well. And so bringing together that little poster that I showed you first, my friend Marie, who is actually the creator of Buncee, she made this for me today and sent it to me. And this would be like the perfect little poster to share as you're getting ready for Hour of Code, or even an invitation that you could make in Buncee. And so I'll show you how to grab that too. But let's get started. The first one is create a fairy tale in Buncee with a technology twist. And one of my favorite series from Capstone are the Far Out fairy tales. And this one, Snow White and the 7 Robots, is perfect to tie in to Hour of Code and Coding. And so it is a graphic novel format. And so within Buncee, it would be so fun to have kids be able to make their own little story or graphic novel. So I talked to my friends at Buncee for this webinar, and they made us some really special stickers that tie into some of the themes and also the books that we will share today. And I love these. I just got them today. They made them, and they're so neat because here is a little Snow White and then 7 space robots. And so turning that into a story with all of the new stickers would be so much fun. And these are just some of them that they have created that are new. And I love the kids too that you could put into these stories. But they also could put a twist on, there's lots of characters. There's these little Martians, there's this little space dog or cat. I wasn't sure what that was, but it was really fun to be able, to think about that and how you can tie it into that fairy tale series. And then in the back of each one, they even have a graphic that shows what the twist is. And so like Snow White, like what does that look like? And the dwarves, they're robots. And so even tying that into your Buncee as you're making it. Another great tie-in is using, I love always seeing like what kind of apps I can smash up and even extend it farther. And we use a lot of Breakout EDU. And so one of the digital breakouts that focus around fairy tales is called Fairy Tale Social Network. And this actually focuses around social media. So you could check that out too. Number 2 is to create a coding adventure graphic novel in Buncee. And again, this coding series, Adventures in Makerspace, there's one all about coding. And this is actually a series that I wrote with Blake Hona. There are 8 of them in the Adventures in Makerspace series. And I love these because they're graphic novels all focused around a group of kids and their librarian and adventures that they go on. But in Buncee, just like in the first one, when you're creating a graphic novel, you can choose from lots of different templates that would be perfect for making like a comic or a graphic novel. But also when you search in the backgrounds, you can find so many more that are different colors or plain, different sizes. And once you click on one of these backgrounds, then you can start adding your stickers, and kids then can make their own coding adventure that happened in their makerspace. And there's tons of makerspace stickers too in Buncee. And so it makes it really super fun to be able to pull from all of these, and kids love making, if it is a makerspace or a library or a scene from maybe school or their home. And so they can put those in, add speech bubbles, and make their own graphic novel. You can also smash up Scratch with this one. And I love the digital storytelling that is, they have now added in Scratch, where you can even click on different characters and you can then bring them to life when what you code. So you can check out that too. And Scratch is free. So that is a great, great thing. Number 3 is to create a step-by-step instruction Buncee. One of the big things when we're teaching coding is talking about like sequencing and loops and patterns. And so this series that is on the left-hand side is a cantata series that has music to it. And then the other one are these adorable little characters that they talk then about things, maybe it's functions in the garden or cooking or patterns that they find in their toys. And so really 2 great series to tie in when we're talking about coding. Now, when I was looking and I was planning a lesson with my teachers last week, I was looking for something focusing around sequences and patterns because we're getting ready to introduce some robots to our preschool and our kindergarten kids. And so I found this book by looking in Capstone Connect. And then I read in the back that it even had an example of writing a loop code like for your favorite sandwich, and what ingredients, what would you include, how would you do it, the directions in it. And so I went into Buncee and just found a simple template and showed the kids and how they could create, and you can even share this template with them so they then could use the stickers to create, and it doesn't have to be a peanut butter sandwich, just steps on making something. And so Buncee, they made these really great templates that we can use now when we're thinking about 4 steps in doing something in coding. And so there are 2 of them that you will now find within Buncee. I also love that Buncee has this pattern activity. And when I was looking around for different ideas on how to use it with patterns or the step-by-step process, I was so excited to find this activity because this is one that you can then use, even make changes or use it as it is with your kids. And so you can share this link and then they can walk through these tasks and different things that talk about pattern. And so a really great thing to be able to use during this time as well. And then one more that they put together for the webinar was this 4 steps in creating a coding project. And this is just so much fun. And this is another template that we could find. Now, when we're in, and I know that Angie's going to show you more too about using Capstone Connect. Capstone Connect has been the biggest lifesaver for us. And it's really caught on, especially the last couple of weeks, because when I go in, like I said, and I search for a topic, I can quickly find all of the articles, the Pebble Go, the ebooks that are there. And it's so nice because when I was looking for, again, like patterns and that step-by-step, I found a series that I had never seen before. And I found this book on making a jack-o'-lantern. It was perfect tie-in too, because we just had Halloween, but it also introduced us to a new series that we were able to look at. So that's a really great way to be able to use Connect too. Number 4 is to create a map and code an Ozobot to explore the map. And we do a lot of working with Ozobots this time of year because we do like the Macy's Day Parade and we do a parade route. And it's kind of our time too to introduce it to our preschoolers and our TK and kindergartners. And so when I was, again, searching right in Capstone Connect, I found a book that I didn't even know was there. When I was searching for books about maps, I found the pirate book map. And the cool thing is the character is a robot. And so I was so excited to be able to use these, not only with the articles that I found in Pebble Go and some other ebooks, but also to pull in this book that was perfect because we were talking about robots. And so this is a whole series from Capstone, and I was able to grab that link then and share it with the kids. And when I went to Buncee and looked around at what maps they had, and I was kind of looking for a treasure map, I found this little template that was really great, just practice giving directions. And so perfect because I can add my own stickers. And so there's an Ozobots little sticker in Buncee. I added another robot. And kids then could go in, they could add their own things, not even robots. Maybe they add things that they find in their neighborhood or in their room or in their classroom, and any robotics that they would like to. And they also had a treasure map that was perfect. And so then when kids took that and they could create their own background and their own route, they can then, when they are working on their route, they can use that map that they've created in Buncee after they do some practicing and create their own routes. This is our kids last year when we were doing our Macy's Day Parade. And I was so excited to tell the teachers about finding these books in Capstone and then the possibility of using Buncee before just to create their maps to get them thinking about how they would do the loops and do the patterns and make their little Ozobots go. And so they're really excited to do that again. Another thing that's fun with Ozobot, just a little app smash, is Ozotown. They have put a lot of their little activities online that we can do for free with our kids. So this is a great one because they can practice their coding. And that little center thing where it says Ozobot in the right-hand side, they actually can code their Ozobot. If you have Ozobots, they can hold it up and it sends the coding to their Ozobot so they can even make their Ozobot go. But there are tons of great robotic books that Capstone has, just some really fun ones from fiction to nonfiction. And I love this one, Could a Robot Make My Dinner? And so really, really fun kind of series that they have too around robotics. Now, number 5 is to create a If I Were a Computer Scientist Buncee. And talking about computer science, especially as we get ready for Hour of Code, is something that we do a lot of because we're a one-to-one district and we use a lot of technology. And so we want the kids really, when we're speaking even about like careers in the future and using things like drones and robotics and digital tools like Buncee, we talk a lot about like the background of technology and people who have created it and what jobs they might have. And so it's great to find when we're looking in Capstone Connect, all of the books and the articles that you can tie into these conversations as well. This is a great one, this unusual and awesome jobs using technology and also robots on the job. And so it got me thinking like we could have the kids think about the technology that they would create. And so Buncee put together a couple different templates that our kids can use. And then they can think if they were a computer scientist, what would they create? And our kids had so much fun putting these together and just adding, simply a little video. It doesn't even have to be writing. They could add stickers and they could add text, but even just a video to say what they would create. And so really, really fun project. Another thing that we did last year, when we were virtual in the spring, we always do a wax museum, and a lot of our kids focus on maybe careers in technology or people who have, maybe invented things that have to do with space or things that the kids are really interested in gaming. And so when we had our wax museum and it was canceled, we used Flipgrid, and the kids then added their video on that Flipgrid. And so fun way to even tie in our kids, will hold up their computer a lot and show what they have created, but even acting out those different things that they can have too. Number 6 is to create a Buncee coding journal as you learn throughout Hour of Code. And our kids use Buncee for journaling a lot. And so these little Hour of Code templates are going to be so handy when we celebrate Hour of Code in December, but even all throughout the year. And with Hour of Code, I wanted just to mention, if you have never participated in Hour of Code before, this site of Hour of Code will be up all throughout the year, and they put activities on that we can use during Hour of Code in December, but again, use them throughout the year with our kids. And so you can check out some of these activities and then see how you can tie it in when you're searching for things in Capstone Connect. So for this one, I put in computer, and I just wanted to know all of the ebooks and all of the Pebble Go and Pebble Go Next articles that were available. But also when we look at the little green one, those are educator resources that we can tie in then to the articles that we find, but also to all of these ebooks. And so when I was looking for computers, especially thinking about what they were maybe going to journal about, I was excited to see some of those teaching resources that support us, but also even tying in not just to that technical part, but even the social emotional learning part of our kids. And there's a great article called Technology and My Health. That is a really good one when you're thinking about that journaling and having kids think about technology. Number 7 is to create robots in Buncee and write a Buncee robot story. And another one in the Adventures in Makerspace series that I did is called A Robotics Mission. And so again, having kids, find out all they can about robots with all the books that we have and maybe the articles that are in Pebble Go and Pebble Go Next. But again, looking at some of those resource guides really got me thinking of ideas, kind of some extensions on what I could do with the books. And so when you click on the green button, and you can download then these great educator resources that then go along with the books that we have. And I know that Angie's going to show this to you, but if you can see on the little left-hand side or right-hand side of the screen on Capstone Connect, you grab that link. And it was so nice because if I have one book that I want to share, I can then just put it into their Google Classroom, and then they can open it up and kind of inspire them when they're making their book about robots. And so there's lots of fun templates that Buncee has made, and you can find so many different parts of robots and robots that they can put together, and then they can add their own story like I did. And so using just some of those fun speech bubbles, you can really, really make a great story. Now, one thing that we have been using a lot of this year is Tinkercad, and Tinkercad is a free program that makes 3D designs. So kids can go in free. They can then create like their own robots, for example, and even make a robotic story using Tinkercad. And the great thing about it is once they have made it in Tinkercad, you can download the free merge cube on paper, make the merge cube, and then use the app object viewer, and the kids can even view then in 3D what they have created in Tinkercad. So a really fun thing, just a great way to bring storytelling to life. Number 8 is to create music in Scratch and add to your Buncee coding journal. And so I love these books from Capstone. Coding in Scratch is a huge hit at our school, and also the coding from Scratch. And this series has one that's really fun called Making Music from Scratch. And so you can tie in some of those topics and those projects that are in there, but also look for other books that maybe tie into technology that involve music. And there's lots of things even online that you can find. This is another series from Cantata called Technology is All Around You. You can find the song free on YouTube. And I love this because there's just really cute lyrics that go along with it. And it talks all about just our little budding scientists.
Technology is all around you.
Just gonna click on the next one, but this one would be a fun one to pair up with Scratch. And Scratch has a place that kids can create music. And if you want it to be even simpler, go to the Chrome Music Lab Songmaker, where kids can then create music, even grab the link, and then they could add it to their Buncee journal, because you can add and link anything within Buncee. And so if they're writing in their journal, they can take that link that they made either in Scratch or in Chrome Music Maker and then add it to their journal too. And so it makes it really fun. I also wanted to add just a few little ideas for the Buncee Ideas Lab and some choice boards that I've put together. When we're thinking and brainstorming and collaborating with our teachers at school as librarians and as educators, it's really nice to have a place that we can go to find all kinds of ideas. And Buncee is definitely our place to do this, because the Ideas Lab is full of amazing ideas that Buncee has put together and educators and librarians from all over the world. And these little ones about choice boards were just put in here this week, and you can go and you can view them and then make a copy to use them for your own use. And so one that I put together today was just this coding choice board filled with places that our kids can go to make stories and music and games and videos, just all kinds of fun. But it also ties into the virtual makerspace we have. And if you notice, kind of in the middle, I always add Buncee to our choice boards, because the kids love to use that too in our virtual makerspace and also the makerspace boards that we have. And it's really easy to use these templates to then make your own list of resources, or even with this Hour of Code ebooks, I took the book covers of some of the books that I showed, and when they click on them, it takes them right into these books. And with Capstone Connect, I can grab those direct links, and kids don't have to get frustrated when they go to these books. So it's really easy just to add a book cover and add a link, and then they could get to those resources as well. And so don't forget to check out the Ideas Lab, because it is an amazing place to go to find these resources and a lot more throughout the year.
Okay, so I am going to jump in and talk about Capstone Connect. So when Shannon stops sharing her screen, I'll jump in and share mine. Wonderful. Okay, so my name is Angie, and I work at Capstone as a product manager in curriculum and instruction. And prior to coming to Capstone, I worked as a technology integrationist in a school district. And so I'm really excited to see all the activities that Shannon just shared with you. And now I'll show you how to find those resources in Capstone Connect. And then Eda will show you how to create them and find other resources in Buncee. And then Shannon will come back on and bring it all together so you can see step by step how to make that happen. So to get started, on my screen right now, I'm hoping that you see pebblego.com, and this is where we go to get started and sign in to access all those wonderful books and articles and teaching resources. So I'll get started by clicking on sign in, and then I'll enter my username and password. And if you are a Capstone Connect customer, you will know your username and password. And once you're in, you'll see the PebbleGo homepage, but in the upper right corner, there is a capstone button. And you can click on that. And at the top, you'll see a search button. So when I click on the search button, it will bring me to Capstone Connect. And here are the two ways that I can find content within Capstone Connect. Shannon mentioned it briefly during her activities, but I'm going to show you what it looks like to search both by standards and by title. So I'll start by searching by standards. So when I put my mouse over it, you can see that the button enlarges a bit. And then I'll click on it. And you start with either a state or national standard. And I used to be a teacher in Minnesota, so I'm going to go down and pick Minnesota. And I know that in Minnesota, we had some STEM activities and hour of code activities in our science standards. So I'm going to go into science as my subject, and I'm going to pick second grade. So now Capstone Connect is going to give you a result, a list of grades, a list of standards connected to Minnesota in science in second grade. So you can see here all the standards that we have content for within Capstone Connect related to that standard search. I'm going to go back up to the top and go to the nature of science and engineering. So here I am at the very top level of that standard. And if I click here, I'll get more resources. I can go down further into the substrands and get very specific and have less content returned to me, but I'm going to go to the very top for this purpose. And once I get in here, I'll see different materials returned to me that are all connected to this standard. The standard is what you see right here at the top, and I can see that there are 316 different items returned to me. And in this case, I'm just going to search for something for robots or for computers. So up here in the filter area, I can type in the word robot. And I can see that we have one ebook on robots. As a teacher, I'm going to look at this first before I use it with my students. So I'll click on it. And now it'll bring me right to that ebook where I can go through the ebook and read it page by page and decide if this is the ebook that I'd like to use with my students. And if it is, I will go back to the admin tool and I'll click on the copy link button. So when I copy this link, that means that the link to that book is copied to my computer, and I can bring it into a tool like Buncee and paste it in there. And when students click on that link, then they have direct access to it. I just want to show you what that link looks like real quick. So here I pasted that link into my URL up here, and you see all these different letters and numbers. Your account information is built into that. And that means that students don't have to remember a username and password. It's built right into this link. So when you put it in a place like Buncee and they click on it, it will bring them directly to that ebook and they don't have to enter a username and password. So that's one way I can discover content within Capstone Connect. The other way is through a title search. So I can click on the title search button. And here I can type, again, a word. So I'm going to start with robot so we can compare what we just saw. And when I type in the word robot, I see that there are 23 resources that have the word robot in their title. And I can scroll through, and there's different pages of materials. And in this case, you can see that there are both ebooks and materials. So here is an ebook on robots. Again, I can click on the title to get that preview of the ebook. And if it's a book that I'd like to use, I can go back into Capstone Connect, and I can look at this teaching material that's attached to this ebook. And here I can see that there are a few pages within this lesson plan that I can use, as it helps me think about how to teach this ebook with my students. I'm going to go back into Connect, and I'm going to do a different word this time. I'm going to search by the word computer. So I type in my word, I click the search icon. Now you can see that there are different buttons up here. And these are different resources within Capstone Connect. So Pebble Go articles are made for, think early readers, think kindergarten through second grade. Pebble Go Next, think more advanced readers, maybe third through fifth grade. Ebooks are made for all students, different levels, and you can see that within the book. And then materials, again, are the teaching materials. So if I know that I only want to see Pebble Go articles, I can toggle on only Pebble Go articles. Or if I want to compare between Pebble Go and Pebble Go Next, I can turn both on. So I can just turn these buttons on and off by clicking them. And again, I can preview the resource first by clicking on it. And here I am out at the Pebble Go website. Once I'm here, if I decide that this is the resource that I want to use, I'll go back into Capstone Connect and I'll click that copy link button. Now that link is copied to my computer and I can paste it into a tool like Buncee. And when my students click on it, it will bring them right to that Pebble Go article on computer hardware. So I'm going to go back into Capstone Connect and show you one more time how to get here. So if I go to pebblego.com and I go to sign in the upper right corner, if I don't have my username and password in there yet, I'll have to enter it. If I do, you'll see on your computer what just happened on mine. It brought me right here. I can go to the drop down with Capstone and go down to search. And then on this page, I search either by standards or by title search. So now I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'll let Eda take over and show you what it looks like within Buncee.
Right, awesome. Thank you so much, Angie. I mean, that was amazing. So as I share my screen over here, what I just have to say, what I love about the Capstone and Buncee connection here is that as you access all of these amazing resources right from Capstone, as you heard from Shannon herself, you could get very creative with how you get your students to reflect, think, and also respond to any of the different types of articles that you access within Capstone on Buncee itself. And so that being said, why don't I just take a moment here to actually share you how to get started with Buncee. So what you'll do first of all is head to buncee.com. So that's buncee.com. So you'll notice it right over the top here. So once you do that, what you'll notice is that there's two options on the top right-hand side of my screen. First of all, if you don't have an account yet, feel free to sign up for an account. You'll see that blue button here. Once you click on that, it'll take you to the sign up page where you could sign up for free. In addition to that, so if you are, like me, an existing Buncee user, you'll go ahead to the login button. So once you log in, I'll just type my username here. So once you log in, I'll show you how to actually create some of those ideas that Shannon had made herself, as well as how to create from scratch on Buncee. And so once I log in, what you'll notice here is that this is my account as a teacher. And so you'll notice, of course, I already have over 1,800 Buncees, so I love to Buncee myself. But as you get started, so some of the key things to keep in mind, especially if you're new to Buncee, is that Buncee is a really creative platform. It's a content creation tool that really hopes to give you as a user the ability to really demonstrate and express your thoughts, your ideas, anything that you'd really like on some form of content. So on Buncee, you'll be able to create things like visual projects, just as Shannon had shown. You could create interactive lessons, newsletters, presentations. So the creativity is really up to you. So once you get started on Buncee and once you log in, this is what your screen will look like. So now that we're ready to create our content, what you'll notice is that on my screen, you'll see a button right over here that says create a new Buncee, or you'll see a red button on the top right-hand side of my screen where you'll be able to create. So once you press these buttons, what you'll notice immediately is all of the different templates that are available to you to be able to get started with creating. So Shannon had shared a lot of amazing different ideas about how to use Buncee in support of Hour of Code. So what you'll notice here is that I have a pop-up to select an existing template. So you'll be able to scroll right through to see what's newly added. So you'll notice there's a lot of different ways to use Buncee for Hour of Code. So as you scroll through, you'll see that there's an option to do an Hour of Code choice board. You'll also notice that if I go back here, that you'll also be able to have your students pick templates where they're able to reflect. You'll notice that there's a lot of different graphics for you to pick from. So you'll be able to start a Buncee from a template yourself. You'll be able to see all of the different categories as well for you to be able to choose from or select from any of the ones that I already have on my screen. But for this instance, what I'll do is I just want to be able to actually create from an existing template. So once you see a template that you want to create one, especially for Hour of Code, you'll go ahead, select that template. You'll be able to preview it. And then you'll press this blue button on the bottom right-hand side of my screen that says use this template. And so once you do that, you'll be able to obviously open up your Buncee and start creating from there. So now I have a Buncee that I'm already ready to be able to edit and add to myself. So what you'll see is that I can add text. It gives me different prompts of how to update this as well. But some other things to keep in mind is that this is how you create from a template. So what you'll notice is on the right-hand side of my screen, you'll see a plus button where you'll actually be able to add more material to this Buncee. So once you press this plus button, you'll notice that some of the prompts says to record a video or add some text over here. So what I'll do over here on the plus button is see all of the different ways that I can edit this Buncee and add different media to it. So once you press that plus button, you'll see that all of the different graphics from Buncee are all in one place. So they are color coordinated, just to keep in mind, to make it easy for our kids to be able to navigate, especially if they're younger and we don't want to overwhelm them. And so just to sort of go through over here. So everything in yellow, you'll notice is that things that you could create, you could add text, shapes, you can have your students draw. Everything in red represents different Buncee graphics, all educationally focused, of course. That they can access. So those animations that you are seeing, the stickers, the messages, you can add emojis, which is really great for social emotional learning too, as well as 3D graphics. Other things that you'll be able to add are web images, as well as panoramic images. So keep in mind, these are Creative Commons licensed. So as you pull in content from Buncee, they are safe for your students as well as for yourself as an educator to be able to use. You don't have to worry about those copyright issues. So you'll be able to search the web right from Buncee. You can even add YouTube channels. In fact, you can access Capstone ready channels or videos rather from YouTube here. You can also see everything in green represents things that you can access from your device. So you can upload files, you can import URLs, record video, take photos. And then if you'd like to go into a little more, you can actually use Buncee to add free response questions, multiple choice. So if you want to give your students a task for Hour of Code, you'll be able to give them an assignment version of a Buncee. So all of the different media options are in one place. So as you start having your students create their projects on Buncee, it's very easy for them to be able to add any sort of media that they'd like. So now that we've covered all of the options that you have available, for my template, we'll notice that you can use it. We're asking our students to think about what they learned for the Hour of Code. So for inspiration here, what I'm going to do is search for a graphic from our Buncee library. So you'll notice over here where it says search for images, videos, and Buncee art, I'll be able to type in a keyword. So I'm going to type in code since we're talking about Hour of Code. So now that I type it, I press enter. And what it will do is actually search for awesome graphics from the Buncee library that you can actually just drag and drop into your screen. So you'll notice that there are different robots. You can search for different animations too. So all of this will be interactive that you can add to your Buncee itself. So I'm going to go ahead, select a few to add. So once you go ahead, select them, you'll notice that they are then selected when they have that blue rectangle around them. And I could just drag them right in. So it's very simple and easy for your kids to really make something that's fun and interactive as they get creative for Hour of Code. So you'll be able to, as you notice, move these graphics around. You'll notice on the bottom hand side that you'll also be able to add more detailed actions to it. And I know Shannon will actually go into this in a lot more detail. So that's how you actually add or create a Buncee from an existing template and add more items to it from a template. So other things, I just want to quickly show you how do you start from scratch, especially on Buncee, or from an idea rather. So now that I shut down my template and closed out my screen, what you'll notice is I'm back to my dashboard here, and this is the Buncee that I just created. So Shannon had touched upon Ideas Lab. So let's say that you're still looking for more inspiration beyond the templates library. What you'll do on your dashboard is actually head to the Ideas Lab on the top of your screen. So that's that blue button right over here that I'm hovering over. You'll select Ideas Lab. And this is also where you're going to find amazing different resources, not just for Hour of Code, but really for any sort of subject area and any sort of grade level. So once you hit Ideas Lab is this amazing resource that's, as Shannon had mentioned, really shared by users in our community as well as from the Buncee team too. But what's amazing about this is that if you don't know how to get started or what to create or what innovation to bring to your class, head over to Ideas Lab and you'll be able to find different teacher tested classroom ready activities that you can scroll through, especially for Hour of Code. So what you'll notice on my screen is that we have an anchor chart right over here for coding for your classroom. So what you'll notice is that when you select an idea in Ideas Lab, you'll be able to preview it. So you'll notice that that sequencing project that Shannon had mentioned, you'll be able to take this project, you'll be able to read a little bit about this activity, decide if you want to use it or not with your kids. And if you do, what you'll notice is that you'll see this blue button that will allow you to create this from this template. So you'll go ahead, press create this. And now you're given the option to be able to edit it, view it. So we'll go ahead and edit it. And that's how exactly you pull a template right from Ideas Lab. So there's a lot of different ways for you to be able to get started using Buncee for Hour of Code. You can use it, as Shannon mentioned, for creating digital stories, comic strips, patterns, sequencing. You can make it for maps or even have a student create a journal. So this is how you actually create from a template. The last sort of thing I wanted to share is how do you create from scratch, right? So if you are very creative yourself, you're feeling ready, you don't have to dive right into a template. What you can do is head back to your dashboard. And then what you'll do again is create a new Buncee. So that's that button on the left-hand side. So you'll create a new Buncee. And then what you'll do after here is you'll exit the templates library that we covered. And you'll be able to see that you have your blank canvas where you'll be able to create a Buncee from scratch if you don't want to use a template. That being said, what you'll notice is that it's a blank canvas. So there's 3 different buttons that gear you towards what to do. So it's very easy for you to get started. You can, of course, change your background. So we'll go ahead, click this button to change our background quickly here. So once you press change a background, you'll notice again, you'll be able to access our templates library, our backgrounds library. So you'll notice there's thousands of different Buncee graphics that you could pick from. Of course, some of the top is already things that are ready for coding itself. So you'll be able to select them as well. But just some things to note is before we select any of these backgrounds, on the left-hand side, you'll see so many different options for you to be able to search for more backgrounds on Buncee. So you'll be able to search the web. Again, like I mentioned earlier, they are Creative Commons licensed, so it's safe for your students to search the web from Buncee. You could change the colors, you can upload. You can also see some of our existing categories. So we have About Me. The ones in particular for this would be around education. If you're looking for science, there's a science category as well. So you'll be able to search any of these different graphics to be able to create your Hour of Code projects with Capstone. So I'll go ahead, select one of our backgrounds, drag it right in again. And now that we've added our background, what we'll do now is obviously add more items to it. And so just to quickly show you how that works. So you'll see there's this blue button. It's a little blurred because of the strong background color, but you'll press the blue button over here. That's that plus sign or that plus sign on the right-hand side of my screen. And then again, that will bring you back to all of the different graphics and media options for you to be able to create with Hour of Code. And so that's exactly how you could create a Buncee from either scratch or from an existing templates from the templates library or from Ideas Lab. And so with that, I'm actually going to pass it back to you, Shannon, as you walk us through how to create an activity in full with Buncee and Capstone.
Okay. I'm going to do this really fast. Okay, so when you are making a Buncee Hour of Code journal, It's really easy, and I just wanted to just show you how fast it is to do with your kids, because when they go and they log in, they can search for these templates that are so awesome and that were just put in, and so we can find them right away. And I selected the 2020 Hour of Code. I then would click in the right-hand corner, use this template that puts it into my Buncee. And then again, that little purple circle, it is circling the plus sign. So when I click on that, it brings up all the different assets that I can add. And so kids can search for, they're looking for a specific, maybe a robot, or in this case, an Ozobot, or something that maybe a dog or whatever they want to put in, they can search for it, then click on add and add that along with even changing the text and color and size, anything they want to make their page theirs. And I think that's the cool thing about Buncee, is really making it where their voice can be heard through their Buncee and their work. And so I love how they can add stickers and animations. They can even add their own video. They can add pictures that they have taken. And so like for our Ozobot example, they could even hold up their map and take a picture and add that then to their journal, and even reflect with a video, or even with just a response that they would record as well. Another thing I love about Buncee is that they can then share all of these onto a Buncee board. And Buncee has made it so easy, because now when they go and they click on, well, I've made a Buncee board, and when kids then go to the share button, they just put in that code that I share usually just on a board or even in their Google Classroom, and it automatically then adds their Buncee to the Buncee board. It is that easy. And so right now, like this week, we're doing Veterans Day Buncees, and it is just loaded with Buncees from all over our school, from our kids. And so Buncee boards is a great way to share things as well.
Thank you so much, Shannon. Honestly, this has been, for me, even honestly, eye-opening. Just the ways that mashing up Capstone Connect, Buncee, and using them, whether you're using them specifically for the hour of code or all throughout the year. Just there's a lot of really creative, inspirational ideas. And it's just the tip of the iceberg. So excited for what those of you who joined us might come up with. This is a good jumping off point. Saw a couple questions just about how to get in contact if you have questions. So if you do have questions and want to learn more about Capstone Connect, we have local reps throughout the country here in the US. Internationally, we have international reps as well that can talk to you about Pebble Go or Capstone Interactive eBooks. But definitely would love to connect with you. If you do want direct contact, easiest way to get there, if you want to be put in contact with your specific rep, is to go to capstone-connect.com. And then Eda, if people have questions about Buncee, what are the best ways for them to get a hold of support for you guys?
Yeah, so first of all, on our Buncee website, we have a live chat that's available 9 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. So feel free to drop a message there, or if you have any immediate questions right now or after this session, feel free to email me at edac@buncee.com. So I'll go ahead and drop my email in the chat too.
Awesome. And then I see there is a question that came in. If you create a Buncee and upload it to Seesaw, do the links work? So this might be a good question for Angie.
So I'm not quite sure around what is meant by do the links work. Maybe Eda, do you want to jump in with this too?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in here. So Amy, great question. So a lot of folks are using Buncee and Seesaw together. So there's two different ways. One is, as a teacher, if you want to create a template using Buncee and then add it as a background on Seesaw, you can do so. But if you'd like to keep the links interactive, what I would recommend then is to actually take the URL of your Buncee and then paste that into Seesaw. So you could hyperlink your items there too.
Awesome. Well, and if there are other questions that come in, definitely here to help you out on both sides for sure. We just really want to continue to give you guys creative ways to use these great resources together to help you build some really amazing learning opportunities for your students. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Shannon, Eda, and Angie. It has been just a pleasure to get to hear some of the ways and practical ways to actually use these tools together. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you all have a great day.